Travel lovers, have you ever wondered what it would be like to sip the legendary drink of the gods? Join me on this delicious journey as we uncover the secrets behind how this divine treat is made. Let's dive into the world of chocolate magic together.
Where I come from, 200 miles from here, um, we do record, and it's not on YouTube, not on Google, and it's not a lie, that this is real. That Mayan kids does not drink what we're drinking. What I mean by kid is below the age of 9 years and lower. Some of the leaders, we have 42 Mayan communities. Each community have a leader, and each leader will decide at what age the kids will be ordained to drink this chocolate. Because it's so religious, it's high significant. So which means the chief will decide, okay, this year we will ordain all the kids in the community at 13 years old. The next community might be, no, we're going to do it at 9 years old. So it's a religious drink, it's a sacred drink. We believe that our Mayan ladies going through labor or pregnancy, we encourage them to drink it. Why we do so? Because we believe that for pregnant mothers to drink this religious hot chocolate, God is going to feed the mother with breast milk, but also will provide the next child, but the child will be strong with bone teeth in here. Now, science now comes and says the opposite. You don't have to do that because the cacao is literally pharmaceutically known to have folic acid, that's calcium, that's iron, that's magnesium. So literally, it was in the bean. We didn't have to worship it. But
Oof. Okay, we have finally made it back home from the cooking experience with the indigenous women, which is a great experience. I'll link their information below. It's currently raining, and that's because we are getting hit by that hurricane. Now, it's not hitting in San Ignacio, it's hitting further north, closer to the Yucatan and closer to Belize City. We have made the executive decision to stay here for until Saturday morning and then see about if we're even able to get back on the island. At the tour, we were able to do some cooking of tortillas, which you probably saw, and we were able to do some pottery. We did not get to keep the pottery, it stayed there, but it was really a fun bonding experience. It just looked like it just finished raining, so I'm gonna head over and see if I can do the chocolate experience. Not sure what we're doing later tonight, but hopefully all 5 of us, that will be Daisy from Australia, Eddie from Chicago, and Elisa from Japan, and all of us get together and see what's going down in the town. Since I really haven't had time to just sit and talk to you guys, this Airbnb, it does offer a lot. I'm actually in my kitchen right now. Just has really good light and whatnot. And Sue is super kind. Super kind. It is hot out here, but our Airbnb offers a fan and a AC. So hopefully I'll have time to show you that. We have our stuff everywhere, so not really a big deal. Been able to go to most of all of the Mayan ruins I wanted to go to. I am kind of a little bit exhausted on that. Then yesterday was Guatemala. That was super amazing. Literally like ran out of space on my phone for storage. Other than that, speaking about the different foods, soursop, not my favorite, Skylar like it. The jack bread, the fried jack was really good. Get that with jam, super amazing. Everyone here either speaks more than English, Spanish, Mayan, and Creole. There's not one look to Belizean people. You have from the darkest to lightest person, so anyone could be Belizean. Something interesting that I found out is there's a huge amount of, I think they're called Mennonites here. So those are people who are on horse and buggy and whatnot. I think this has been 8 years since the last hurricane here in Belize. So that is great timing on our part, right? Other than that, anything I want to tell you. There's a lot of people here right now from the island that came because they were evacuated from San Pedro up north and Cacao. I think tomorrow we're hopefully trying to do some water activities, but we'll see how the storm affects the rest of the country. Important thing to tell you. Don't feel like you have to book your tours like ahead of time. You definitely can do them like the night before, just probably like 4 or 5 o'clock, and they will all range and vary in price. Just be aware to know what you're getting. Whew. All right. The chocolate tour is every hour, so right now it is that time. It's 3:46, and if you're in like Michigan or whatever, I think there's a 2-hour time difference. So I'm gonna try to get there, and hopefully no one will be there, so we can have her all to herself and ask a whole bunch of questions and get tarts with her on some chocolate, because I have a huge sweet tooth and I love the sweets. I love the sweets. And I know, guys, I'm gonna see you later. Any questions, comments, list those below, and I'll try to tell you as much as possible. I will say San Ignacio is very like rural and laid back. Haven't made it to Belize City. We're thinking about staying there one night, but just because we didn't hear so many great things about things to do in Belize City, we chose not to. But if we can't get on the island on Saturday, we'll probably end up just spending one day in Belize City before we try to go out. And we still haven't even made up our mind if we're going to San Pedro or Cacao. So I guess it just all depends on what the government says, if we can or not. So on that note, pray for me. The Mayan gods, I left my earring in the cave, trying to see your great wonders. Please let the rest of the vacation, adventure journey go beautifully. If you guys haven't already, go ahead, like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. And don't forget to grab your ebook. Continue to follow me on my journey through Belize.
Basically, is drinking bitter chocolate to chocolate bar. Okay, what was supposed to be a dark bitter chocolate now becoming with milk and sugar and now it's in a chocolate bar. So that's what foil actually means. Alright, but before we get into taste these cacao bean, do anybody know anything about tree fruit production?
The seeds get fermented, I know that.
Yep, every chocolate bar bean has to be fully fermented. It takes, depending on where you are, which is we're 18 degrees north from the equator, so we are fermenting at 5 to 14 days fermenting. Anybody has anything to know about it? No, nothing. Well, that's the reason you're here. Okay. But anyways, cacao only grows in southern Belize. White only grows south because of the soil. The type of soil we have in south is alluvial soil. What is alluvial soil? It's like a swamp soil that will hold water for a very long period of time. So it's sponge. Can be dry here, but wet bottom, which is exactly what the cacao root system is looking for. It needs to be wet all the time. Precisely, we're looking at 2 to roughly 6 inches of water per week. Anything below 2 is too dry. Anything above 6 is too wet. It rot the root system. So if 2 things happens to your tree, it's dead, it becomes a big tree and there's no fruit. That compels us at 2000 BC to worship the tree. Which means we think that the first tree, the first fruit on this wild bush that belongs for the monkey was not meant for you and I to eat. But we think that by chopping this first fruit, burning it as an offering to the owner, Cacao, the goddess, we think that she's going to reply back by producing fruits from the tree. But what we failed to know until 1969 precisely that we did not have pollinators and maintenance of the tree. Today we now have midges, which is a fly like between mosquito and like a fruit fly that is endemic in bananas. Was officially bananas brought here from 16th to the 17th century, which forced us now to have 1,000 fruits on November to June on each tree. So we're getting 1,000 fruits. Versus if you take back bananas, we would then think, did we plant it at the right cycle of the moon? Did we choose full or the moon? Did you test? Did you give enough offerings to the gods? But remember, we didn't have pollinators. That forced us to worship the tree, which now we have to ask rain god to wet the tree and sun god to shed light. I'm made from corn, so I have to worship corn gods every single day. I thank corn god for giving me the light, but also I worship wind god for me to breathe. So those are just few of the gods that we need all the time. And then obviously the actual fruit was never meant for man to eat, but for monkey. So we use monkey for god for music. So we do have a Mayan goddess for DJ goddess, alright? But this is what it looks like. So what we do is we chop them out to three. They have to turn from green to yellow. And just to let you know, this is one of the varieties, the mother of chocolate, which is a green fruit turned yellow. At about 2000 BC, this was discovered by man, which is called Mayan today. Another was red in color, turns yellow. Yellow means fully mature. These were two wild trees that was grown wild until the 15th, 17th century. They arrived up in the Europeans. And that's when they took that wild tree, they joined it together. Now it happens in Trinidad and Tobago, so the name fruit is Trinitari. Each of these pods, they take 6 months to grow. From a very small flower to an actual pod took 6 months to grow. It only comes with about anywhere between 30 to roughly 50 chocolate bean per pod. Each bean does not have a taste, does not have the color of chocolate. This is what it looks like. So when we break them, we come across this hard shell of about 20 to 30 bean. This is the bean that we were the first to eat this bean. Based on this decision, we've loved it. We started to farm it and domesticate it. Now worship it. Today, we want you to taste it. Okay? So it's good. Let's farm it. We couldn't think it's too bitter. You know what? Don't bother with the tree. Leave that out there for the monkeys. You know, but we love this. So the next thing we did was to follow moon goddess, which cycles of the plant. Next thing we do, we start to chase the monkey, the parrots, the woodpeckers, because the fruit belongs to us. We want to eat the bee. But also, we want to tell you that it took man some 800 to roughly 1,000 years to convert eating to drinking chocolate. So which means for 1,000 years, we've made a lot of mistakes doing this. One of the mistakes was that harvesting this green fruit from the tree, because remember the tree was nature. If anybody else can come tomorrow and harvest the fruit. So you take that fresh fruit, you take it at home. What happens at home? The actual pod. This is a good example. The actual pod starts to get black. Instead of having rock hard, now starts to get soft. Instead of having that watery, sugary, or around that one single bean, now gets molded. You get yeast, fungus, and bacteria. Alright? What Mayan did, the first thing what they did was to suck on that bean. And when they suck on that small bean, they get high. You know? So which means wine started here, and that's a mistake. What if the fruit never rots? We never make wine. This is samples just for you to smell that this is one of the traditional processing we do currently, and it's not just Belize, but in 40 other countries where cacao is officially grown today. But initially, it started here in America. It's between all in south of Mexico to north of Honduras, the Pacific, Guatemala, and Caribbean. Somewhere in this area, this was converted to be wine. Now, by radiocarbon dating, it now shows that 1900 BC, what was just nature's sugar becomes alcohol. What was a purple bean becomes amber colored bean. So in the 17th century, we were forced as a farmer to change the size and the flavor of the bean. So which means we wanted to have this flavor equivalent to coffee. So modern day, it takes 5 to 14 days in a box instead of here to ferment the bean. Instead of a small bean, bigger. Instead of purple, it becomes brown. Instead of vinegar, it's whole. Alright, so that takes 5 to 14 days. Then you rinse the bean, you wash this, you place this fermented bean on the sun to get dry. Let's taste this fermented bean this time. So this is now believed to be dead. It is according to evidence, it is good for the next 4 to roughly 6 years. That's how long that meat is good for. It's a little harder than what we've just had. So that currently tells us we're eating it very scary. Now we all do know by Google. We know that cacao is rich in antioxidant. It has a lot of calcium. This is the stage we are. What we mean by that is that stage right now. It's fully fermented, dead. It is a rich, fruity, and earthy taste. But for us, globally, our palate is expecting sugar. Now we taste bitter. The bitterness, ladies, take heed. That's cocoa butter.
Oh.
Cocoa butter, especially now, become activated thanks to the fermenting that took 5 to 14 years. If we didn't do it properly, it's sour. It affects you as a consumer.
Sorry.
It affects you as a consumer, whereby you have no cocoa butter. It affects the boys. They don't have no snapping chocolate bar. The world will be looking at a violet in color chocolate. So instead of having it wrong, it looks, So that's what fermenting did. But also we want to let you know that the cacao is 100% and does not need preservatives as we speak. You don't put that in a fridge. That's the stage we export, but also that's the stage the Asian man had took advantage of themselves. If you cannot farm it, I'll give you the bean, you give me honey, give me salt. So we were using that bean as a barter system. We also the first people on earth to take the chocolate bean and use it like a abacus. Counting. Lined up 3 bean there and 5 there, hey, that's 8. So we're the first people that also to take that bean and throw it in fire, telling all the gods who partake in growing the tree, thank you. So as a gratitude, you do it in caves, you do it in mine site. That probably led us into the roasting, which is what we now have. So we just had it with the skin. Currently, we are roasting them with low fire at 180 to roughly 200. We're knocking out the skin. Today, we're using the skin for tea. Chocolate tea. A decade ago, 10 years ago, we started to use the skin. What we were focused on to experiment was this bean. It is roasted now at 180 for about 20 to 30 minutes. Now the bean is so fragile, we end up with what we call cocoa or cacao nibs. Alright? Nibs is a European word for nibbling. Americans is appetizers. So let's try it. Okay? So this is what was roasted by us, but it is wood roasted instead of propane. So like I mentioned, you now taste we're all Mayan. We're all people. We're Mayan just like you and I. That occasionally you forget to give offerings. Alright? But you're reminded when you eat. So that bean is very earthy. So that tells you, you know what? I need to give my offering next time. So that happens every 90 days, which is equivalent on your Gregorian calendar or Julian calendar, which is equinoxes and the solstices. So that's what we've been doing all the time. Give gratitude, but also we were eating it, remember, for roughly 800 to roughly 1,000 years natural. So which means we should not brutalize forest food. Meaning, if it's bitter, that's the taste. God of chocolate could have put sugar inside because he just sucked the sugar out. But at the same time, there was no sugar in America. We had honey. So they want to challenge God, so we eat it bitter. Roughly 200 to 300 years ago, sugar arrived. We have now changed the flavor of the nibs. Instead of just bitter now, we get sugar, soaked, boiled water, like syrup, simple syrup. Put your lips in there, whisk that, everything is dry, sweet. Yeah. So, if you really think about it, This is what we think chocolate is out there. So outside of the Mayan worlds, we think chocolate must be sugar. If you come within the Mayan world, we tell you the opposite. That's brutalization of God's work. Okay? But we've been forced by our parents to enjoy it this way because we didn't have sugar. So what you're now having, again, going back in time from 2000 BC down to 1000 BC, it is assumed that this was consumed by everyone, meaning that every Homo sapien Mayan that have used the jungles of Belize like a restaurant enjoyed it just like that. They were nomadic. But then they start to settle, so what you consider temple for me is church, like Shanangan, Cacao, Ticao, Patmo. That's when they start to settle. Instead of moving around, they start to settle. Instead of eating corn apple cow, let's make it the tortilla. Instead of eating just nib alone, let's grind it to make it paste and drink it. And that's when they started to import the stone. Stone starts to come in, so which means we remain to use basalt volcanic stone. Take the dried bitter bean, grind it, we end up with a paste, and then we invented corruption. Which means that your kids cannot have that chocolate anymore because it's religious. I'm just going to drink it. Which is where we get the word AJAW. The word AJAW, pronounced as Cacao, translates for the elites, the kings, or the queens, chocolate. Those are the only people who had the chocolate trinity to drink it. Alright, today we're going to show you how that dried bitter bean gets converted to a paste using hands, muscle, and stone without left and cow. That's the name of the stones. Since you're a smaller group and we're using 2 stones, we'd love for you to come closer. Okay? We'll show you how. What things about it is that you can throw your arms and hand grinding it. Just a couple seconds, we will do the rest. So as mentioned, the stone is left, which is the cylindrical part of it, that's left. The bottom of it is cap. So left means crush, and cap means it was placed on floor. So you would have been on your knees, your weight on the stone, crushing it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's maybe 30 minutes, about an hour to 2 hours, depending on the size of the family. But it also in between you're grinding like seeds, grains, or medicine using the same stone. Geology shows that basalt stone is very porous. So which means whatever you grind on these kind of stone, they get filled. So which means that we have made a mistake seasoning that drink. So when we mentioned we're gonna add a chili in your chocolate, I saw your faces, you're gonna why chili in chocolate? Somebody had to grind chili pepper for soup. Somebody had to grind garlic for the soup. You know, maybe some leaf they had to grind for medicine, but it stays there. So whatever we eat and drink, like our tortilla, is no longer just plain maize, but it has chocolate. Vice versa, chocolate now has maize. Those are the mistakes that have occurred in the kitchen, but this was the end result of what they have seen. At the very first time, giving it a time at about 1000 BC, so roughly 0 BC, and this is what the Mayan have gifted to the world using basalt. Currently, we're still using basalt stone machines. Okay, so that's the end result. Now, we're going to set it up for you so that you can dare. So when they harvest, we think we receive it, we drink it. But what we found on this stone was pepper, garlic, vanilla, ginger. We end up drinking that chocolate with those flavors. But never milk, never cinnamon, never sugarcane, because we didn't have those. So what we're drinking, we were the only people enjoying it for 3,500 years alone. 15th century, that's 500 years ago. We're no longer alone. We share this with you, meaning the world. And that's where you started to add nutmeg, milk, cinnamon, sugar cane. So we've added cinnamon culturally for us. Cinnamon is going to be the last we're going to add in this drink, and then you can choose to drink it out, or if you feel like you can add a little extra spices, then soak these beans in salt so it can transport. So when you get there, it was salty and they eat it. So instead of putting in salt, we put salt in the tropical. Yeah, so that's how it ended up to being salt. But for Mayan, salt was something that we used for meats. Anything we grinded was on the stone, so we've never added salt in chocolate. Now, just to let you know that what you're enjoying here, where I come from, 200 miles from here, we do record, and it's not on YouTube, not on Google, and it's not a lie, that this is real. That Mayan kids does not drink what you're drinking. What I mean by kid is below the age of 9 years and lower. Some of the leaders, we have 42 Mayan communities. Each community have a leader, and each leader will decide at what age the kids will be ordained to drink this chocolate. Because it's so religious, it's high significant, so which means the chief will decide, okay, this year we will ordain all the kids in the community at 13 years old. The next community might be, no, we're going to do it at 9 years old. So it's a religious drink, it's a sacred drink. We believe that our Mayan ladies going through labor, pregnancy, we encourage them drinking. Why we do so? Because we believe that for pregnant mothers to drink this religious hot chocolate, God is going to feed the mother with breast milk, but also will provide the next child. But the child will be strong in bone, teeth, and hair. Now, science now comes and says the opposite. You don't have to do that because the cacao is literally pharmaceutically known to have folic acid, that's calcium, that's iron, that's magnesium. So literally, it was in the bean. We didn't have to worship it. But despite that, we kept worshipping it. So currently, we still drink it. We're lactose intolerant, so we don't do milk. We don't follow what the world is doing. Let's put sugar. No, we remain to not brutalize chocolate. The first brutalization of chocolate considered brutalized to us is from drinking to cooking, which is Mexicans. The molded chocolate sauce. We don't do that. Mexicans did that. Those are Aztecs that started to cook with the paste, and then followed by ganache, and then of course then they started to having the chocolate bar 1830, and then studies comes into the chocolate and everybody get into it and realizing that this drinking chocolate was for the Maya, was for the rich. You go to the European side, you'll be rich by money to drink what you're drinking. Why? We didn't have 17 million trees here. We were still limited in production. So the bean that was carried out there was served for the rich. That's why we end up calling mix. It was a rich man snack. The paste was studied by Dutch, Netherlands. Netherlands decided to separate the oil and make a powder. So Netherlands, along with the Godiva's family, they invested in what we call heater and a presser, which heats the paste, press out the oil, makes the powder. The oil ventures into cocoa butter production. What end up here is the powder that it mixed with another oil, like margarine, like palm oil, which forces us to cause deforestation. So your product becomes very sweeter and stretchy, oily, or waxed. And that causes chocolate to be confection, which is a Latin term for with mixes. So you've changed the name in the 19th century, so which means you have candy rather than chocolate. Okay, so what you're having here is still chocolate. But how long more? I'm not sure. Because we are changing, instead of drinking, we now make chocolate bars in Belize. And that only started 2 decades ago. So 2005 to be precise, first molding of that drink happens to be 93%. We still make the bars today, but only for people that are considered like diabetic or cholesterol, so dark chocolate. Somebody is looking for this kind of chocolate out there, is suffering sugar. Today we make 70%. That's going to be your next sample. Done by machine, cane sugar sweetened, and cocoa butter emitted. Very fruity, a distinct taste that is comparable to be served with wine. Okay, so the kind of chocolate that you would do back at home with wine. Okay, but how is your drink? Very good. Is it your first time having real chocolate?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So now you can tick that off your bucket list. You has fresh, homemade, vegan, Mayan, organic chocolate. All right. So, any questions, by the way? I've been talking for an hour. Talk to me now.
How old were you when you first had it?
Huh?
How old were you when you first had it?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably like 9 or 13 years old. So again, it's an ordained kind of procedures we have to go through, and apparently we don't encourage our kids to have outside chocolate. Even if you have outside chocolate, we don't call it chocolate.
No.
Yeah.
What about the word chocolate? That's from my language.
Okay, so official. This is how it was written right here. So this is in place. Officially written, telling the next tribe Cacao. Okay, so Cacao is the indigenous name. That's the glyph. Then Europeans arrived. Okay, so this is how it actually boils down. We were kind of like embarrassed to tell the Europeans that that's a religious drink. Okay, so what we told them was in Mayan we've called or described this drink as balis, which means muddy waters. That's what the drink. If you look at the drink just now, it was like mud, very thick, gritty drink. That's what we've told Europeans. Potentially, that's one way how Belize becomes Belize from the word balis. The word chocolate officially comes from a Nahuatl language that started by Mexicans mixed with the Europeans from the chocolate to chocolate today. Okay, so it officially, that's probably like 17th, 18th century it started, but the official word is cacao or kawa. That's from the tree, bean, fruit, and the drink.
Was it do one primarily mix the drink, bringing that involved process?
Well, chiefly what you just saw is a what was it, kid's job. But at a certain age, the boys move into farming, so it becomes a lady's job. Yeah, so that would be like the branding food or yeah. All right, shall we move on? Okay.
Quick question.
Chicago.
So, do all of the Mayans make it the same way, or it's this style is only?
No. Every serving in our homes is different. So I really cannot tell you it will be spicy all the time. So whatever you just grind it on that stone, that's the flavor you get. I mean, these are typically stones, so we are trying to protect them. So maybe currently we can just serve pure chocolate and we add spices. Especially for the industry where we are, in this kind of medium, we use one stone and then we add the spices. But if you go to the combined kitchen, you grind the corn there, pepper, the same stone. So your flavor is always different.
But the concept is the same way, like in Mexico, the Mayans of Mexico.
In terms of the preparation, there's certain procedures you have to do so that it becomes very oily. We do the old tradition, which means not to ferment in a box for 14 days, but just a small amount or in actual fruit, which becomes sour or vinegar. So that's a taste, a flavor that is still established today. But you also have what we're giving you, so that would be carried, I think, globally. You might have some smaller groups, tribe groups in Mexico that remains to serve the vinegar also, which is, I mean, what if you don't have 100 trees? You might only have two or three trees producing fruit. So obviously your cacao flavor will be vinegar. We get this flavor to like coffee, but that's coming from an 80 to 100 pound cacao bean fermented protein. That's how you end up getting. Yeah, but yeah, also it would be not fair to say that I've had all the chocolates, because every soil 3 feet from just earth, the pH of the soil is different. Yeah. So every, like, can I say Costa Rica and Belizean bean is the same? 2 different flavors. Our moisture is here between 4 to 7% moisture. We're very far from the equator, so our bean is premium bean. Costa Rica does the Ecuador, the fine flavor bean. If you notice back in the chocolate bar next time, it says fine flavor, you know why. There's too much rain. Here it's premium, less rain. Okay? So that's how you know about the chocolate bars.
Never would have known.
Yes. Alright, so we do have this last sample for you. Let's take the next door. And sugar, your butter, your milk, your marijuana if you want that in there. You know? And that makes it very smooth. When you're done there, then you spread that on a marble counter because the chocolate is too hot. You need to cool this. We use the figure 8 tempering, which means doing that there. So once you do that, you look at the breathing space of the chocolate. There's bubbles. You don't want bubbles in the chocolate. So that's new version of hot to cold to put that in the fridge. But that's an old school heat. We've been the first people to grind it or to heat it because we crush it here, we smoothen it, and then we create speed to rub rocks together to get it hot. So we've been doing punching, refining, and tempering, old school way. The new one is now marble counter. Okay, once you get it done, then you mold them, you put it in your fridge, and by a couple hours, your chocolate bar snaps. Now, the harder your chocolate bar snaps, the fruitier your chocolate. You don't want a chocolate bar powdery like a cookie, right? Which means something went wrong. It's like when you've burned the rice. You know, no matter if it's fried, if it's yellow, you still get the burnt. That's the chocolate. Once you under or over fermented it, it's too sour, it's too bitter, it's lack of moisture, lack of cocoa butter, so the reaction is up to you then. You know, it doesn't snap. It probably will in color also. So fermenting is critical stage, but it also the soiling is the kickstart. Once you master that everything, then the chocolate bar becomes very fruity. My level, or our case, 2,500 of us in Belize, we do not encourage deforestation. What we did, we took the paste, we hydraulically removed the oil is added into this chocolate bar instead of palm oil. We don't want deforestation. That makes it very a distinct taste of a 70% fruity chocolate.
What's the like the sweetener?
Okay, so this batch carries 18% cocoa butter.
Okay, and
The
it's just
balance
cocoa butter, no
sugar.
sugar, no honey.
No.
Wow.
The minute okay, so honey, I mean, our bottles tells you it's 100% honey. That's a lie. You know, honey comes with water, and water is an enemy to chocolate. 1, 2. Honey is too thick for the chocolate, it sees out the oils. You saw that in your drink. Hot water, you mix it, melting. The minute you add more honey, you start to have the grit chunks in there. Yeah, that's the water. Imagine just paste and honey. It sees it out. Yeah, so that's why you never find honey sweetener chocolate bar. Okay, we good?
Yes.
Bear in mind,
Yeah.
that's only 19 years ago we started to make this chocolate bar. So which means we have break the old tradition. What you enjoyed as a drink, there's a high chance that that's never to come back. We're now going for sweeter chocolate.
Was it controversial to start developing chocolate
Absolutely,
bars?
absolutely. But for the government of Belize, remember, forestry, government of Belize, the health authorities, and the Belize Tourism Board, they encourage us, do it. Your GNI is gonna go up, so is the GDP. Right? You know, so yeah, let's do it. But at the end of the day, like, hey, we just kill the culture. You know, like there's no longer drinking chocolate for chocolate bar. Yeah.
But you still drink it in your house.
Yeah, totally. We still drink it. It's an occasional drink. I'm 100% Mayan. We don't celebrate birthdays. We celebrate death, and that's when you drink chocolate too. Yeah. Yep. So we celebrate the afterlife. Like, you know, he's gone. His party. He wasn't in prison. He wasn't bedridden. You know, he was not ill. He was a healthy person. Let's celebrate. We fast for someone that is giving birth. Yeah. What if that child comes in? What if he becomes bedridden? Troublemaker, yeah. Lives in prison. You know, so when it's gone, okay, let's serve it. So we see things different here. You know? Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Really
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the incredible journey into the world of Mayan cacao making. We've explored the rich traditions, the meticulous processes, and the deep cultural significance that makes Mayan cacao truly unique. By preserving their ancient methods, we honor the heritage and the craftsmanship of the Mayan people. If you enjoyed the adventure, be sure to check out the rest of our cultural content, interviews, and travel adventures. If you're inspired to travel like me and experience these worlds firsthand, reach out. I would love to help you plan your own journey. Don't forget to check out my ebooks, which are packed with tips and guides to assist you with your travels. So continue to explore the world together. Until next time, happy travels. Bye.